Hey there team, and welcome to a little 2v2 on the Pelennor Fields. Looks like a nice little rainy morning here. It's quite unpleasant weather, but yeah, it does give it a good sort of nice autumn feel, I think. Yeah, but anyway, this is from November-esque time period, and it's a 2v2 alongside Kretch. I'm playing as Rhudaur, which, as I say, is definitely like it's fighting for my favourite faction. Between it and Cardlin, but I've definitely probably changed up my approach a bit since I played this battle, so it's always interesting to watch some of your old stuff and try and see your playstyle develop. So I've got my two Erebor Troll Hunters here next to two Rhudaur Marksmen. Nothing's changed with that. Rhudaur Clansman, Rhudaur Swordsman, yep. Okay, cool, so I've started using Rhudaur Axeman, that's a fairly recent development. Some more Clansmen there, and some more Rhudaur Swordsmen, Coalfell Maidens, and Dunman Scouts, and the general in with Herenidane Berserkers. And then, of course, Dunman Pikes, and Herenidane Pikes, and more Dunman Pikes. So, yeah, that's pretty normal for me nowadays. I like to mix the axes and the swords together. To get a good AP and then normal high damage min-arm mixture. Kretch is going for Dale, which I think Dale is definitely Kretch's like strongest faction, or his favourite faction either way. So he's got his Dalian spears up front, backed up by the Barding Herd. Far superior to my phalanx units, but still, just halberdiers, whereas I have pikes. Then more Dalian Cav, and the Earls of Dale. Some dismounted Earls of Dale and the civilians. Actually, this is an evening time battle because everybody's got these little torches. So then the Lake Town Infantry, the Sword Masters of Esgaroth there, Merquindi Bows, Dalian Bows, and Dalian Bows. Any armor upgrades for the Dalian Bowmen? No. Any armor upgrades for the Dalian Spears, I wonder? Yes. Okay, armor upgrades for the Dalian Spears, not for the Bows. That makes sense to me. Anyway. And, yeah, decent cavalry force, and the civilians too. Where's he got his general today? In with the Earls of Dale, the mounted Earls of Dale. Sensible enough, I think. Our enemies here today are a grey. What is a grey? Erebor, I think. And then to the next black, which could be Numenor. It could be Arthedain. It could be Mordor, so that'll be exciting to see. Yeah. The fact that I've brought my Axemen means that I do perceive a threat of armoured units, so that does make me think that it's probably going to be Numenor or Arthedain rather than being Mordor, who can bring some decent armoured units, but not really. Like, I've done a few tests, done a few muck around tests, and I've always found that Rhudaur swordsmen hack and slash their way through Mordor infantry, really without much of an issue. You've really got to be one of the more, armoured human men-at-arms if you're wanting to match the Rhudaur swordsmen, just because of their high damage output. And that lack of defensive skill doesn't matter if you're not able to really pump much damage out. Okay, I might have actually been wrong with that. That looks like Mordor, doesn't it? Damn it. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, Mordor. So I guess I've just brought it for the sake of the dwarves there. And also powering through some of Lifa's army. So, Lifa and Ayator, I suppose. He's got his Moranon halberds there, and then his Orc archers out front. So they've got some masses, but they are not going to be able to beat my Rhudaur marksmen, will they? Behind them some Moranon halberdiers, behind them some more Moranon infantry. And then the Olokai, the Troll Catapult, Sauron's Well, Melkor's Chosen, Temple Executioners, the Nazgul, and Sauron's Well. Any upgrade for the Temple Executioners? No. I like them like that, as I always say. Then also a Ballista for Ayator, or Ayator. So we are definitely down on the artillery front, but that's exactly where I want to be as Rhudaur. I don't care. I'm gonna get in your face immediately anyway. It doesn't matter if you've got artillery or not. Then he's got his crossbow line mixed in with his spearman line. Behind them, some Ironfoot warriors and the Axe Guard of Erebor. He's got some Wargoat chariots, Ironfoot, Wargoats behind them, and more halberds, or some halberds anyway. So, sturdy cavalry force. We definitely don't have a great answer to those chariots. Actually, my Coalfell Maidens are a great answer to those chariots. But I'm going to need my my Coalfell Maidens to hurl their javelins in the Melkor's Chosen. We'll just see how it goes. I've gone for my normal formation of marksmen out front, clansmen behind them, and then everything else sort of just mixed in where it needs to be. And Critch has gone for a kind of similar approach with his civilians leading the way. So, I see their artillery. This troll catapult, not fun. That ballista, definitely not fun. I need to get moving. I need to get stuck into this as quickly as I can. So group formation, pretty narrow formation here, which is always, well, pretty narrow like army layout, which is the way I always tend to play, because it does allow for pretty rapid movement, pretty rapid deployment. Now the good thing about my Rhudaur marksmen is they might be fodder archers, but they're not, you know, horrendous fodder archers. They can deal a bit of damage down on the enemy. And although I may want to just skirmish away with this front line, which I would win, I can't do that because this artillery is going to mince us. So Lake Town Infantry moving out forward for Dale right now, spreading them out. That was a nice organised spread there, guys. They spread out really quick there. Dwarven Miners coming forward. This is something that definitely was a bit strange for us, but might have been a misclick. And just a misclick gone wild. Sometimes if you let your forces really charge too deep, yeah, it looks like he's trying to sort of organize it, trying to pull them back, but it's just too late, and they are swallowed up by the civilians and the spearmen, and now some Dalian cav just squashing them. At least it's just, oh god, that's, yeah, that was a big misclick actually. As his general was unfortunately in that unit. I only spotted that for the second before it happened, just because there's a star there on the minimap. But so we were pretty focused on that, and I've allowed myself to just absorb a lot more catapult fire than I really should. I should be in there by now, but I'm dilly-dallying. I really am. But yeah, Critch is coming forward. He's trying to slam those crossbows, and he's being pretty risky about it, and ending up right in the face of those Ironfoot spears. So he's going to lose a lot of men for it. Yeah, and they're actually oh, that was, yeah. Yeah, they routed, and for a moment, you saw they actually sort of routed into the enemy spears. So, although he definitely did kill a few crossbowmen, you know, quite a few crossbows actually, not really worth it. But they have returned, and that is good to see. Over on the left here, damn this rain, damn this weather, sir. Makes, you know, misfires, certainty, all that shenanigans. My Rhudaur clansmen are getting surrounded there, but the high morale of these Rhudaur forces means that they'll hold. They will hold, right? They'll hold until my pikes get there anyway. And if we close on in a bit, we can see the overwhelming swarm of wild men. That was a good shot for me anyway. A lot of friendly fire there on these Mordor boys. And the Mordor boys do not have the same morale levels as my wild men do. My wild men with anger and passion in their hearts are going to be slicing through these meek and weak orcs. But it's just how much damage can he do to me with that artillery as I'm doing so. My Witcher-Omen Slavers here, I don't think I called them out at the start. I don't have my general in with the Witcher-Omen Slavers, so I can really muck about with them a bit more. Dalemen Scouts just rattling around freely. Coalfell Maidens around here too. And even though I might have been a pretty tight formation at the start, I'm actually going to slow down a bit. Oh, not that much. I'm going to slow down a little bit because we're going quite quick. I might have been a pretty tight formation at the start, but I have spread around and I'm swallowing up his front line quite nicely. Over here, Dale, oh, I didn't actually consider that. Dale and Erebor, oh, that's a really shame to see these two factions fight. But those Ironfoot Wargoats seem to have been grabbed at some point. They've really wreaked a bit of havoc on these little infantrymen, but the Barding Herd are not going to be allowing this to pierce through them. And that armor piercing, breaking it right down. Only half the enemy. I don't know which that is. I think it's probably the Mordor forces. But yep, Dalian spears over here, and it's just sort of a bit of a wild charge forward for Dale. But he definitely wants to use his archers to get the most out of them. Heavily armored Dale is going to be a nuisance for that, though. Oh god, oi oi oi, a lot of casualties there, and even more Lake Town boys taking this fire. As I continue to get just raked by that catapult. And piercing through, those Saurons while breaking, they broke at almost 90 men, and I was able to just rattle through so many after that. I've got my Herenidane Berserkers stuck in there. I don't think they've used up all of their ammo. I know how damaging those little throwing axes are. I don't really try to make sure I use all of them though, which is it's a mistake sometimes, but sometimes you just need to get that elite infantry unit in there. My Erebor troll hunters are hunting some trolls, but they're hunting the best trolls on the planet, really. Unless not Arda, unless there's some little trolls that the gods over in Valinor have grabbed and they're just sort of testing them. But it's not quite like the Valar, so I'm sure that would kind of frustrate a few of the other Valar if somebody was doing that. But yeah, mixing up with the Axemen though, this is a nice little duo here. Erebor Troll Hunters, just about the only Rhudaur unit that has any defensive melee skill, mixed up with a more brutal armor-piercing Rhudaur Axeman. Is going pretty well. And it's just momentum. I've just got the momentum now, so I'm just carrying on through. Just go. And I'm just trying to slice on through these guys, really. Front line kind of dicey with the Saurons well there, but yeah, the Rhudaur Axeman mixed up with the Swordsman is a good duo. Really match made in heaven there. I've even got some Erebor Troll Hunters with ammunition remaining, and passing by the Kelduin River Patrol who have actually used up their javelins. So we're going to be hurling some javelins into these dwarvy boys. As the Barding Herd are going toe-to-toe with these spears. This is normally a fight that the Barding Herd would love to be in, but just outnumbered like this, well, they're not tremendously outnumbered, they just need to get organised. And they're quite wide, they've got very wide spread. But on this right flank, we're seeing a lot more Dalian forces. The Greenwood Lumbermen have gotten around the back, and we have got cav superiority at this point. So we're able to just run riot, and even these Lake Town infantrymen are going to be able to get in the back amongst these Ironfoot crossbows. Ironfoot crossbows would win that melee engagement, mind you, but it's more about stopping them from firing for a while. My Erebor Troll Hunters are taking a bit of fire probably from those crossbows, but doesn't matter too much. I prefer them to be shooting at me rather than anything else. That ballista's preparing to fire, though. What's it going to go for? No, he's preparing. They need to do it fast, though, if they're going to... Okay, he's tightening it up. They're turning... I don't think so. That's a shame, because I think he was about to fire. But now I think they've got to start the whole sequence again. Damn. You know, those war goats coming in, smashing. The Melkor's Chosen are still alive, too. And I've used up a lot of my javelins. There might not be too much more in terms of Mordor forces here, but those Melkor's Chosen are no joke. What have we got running on over here? Yeah, you can see these were all of the maidens that went down trying to just face off against the Melkor's Chosen. Definitely, you know, maidens, sorry. Maybe an anti-cavalry unit, but they're not quite built to deal with something like the Melkor's Chosen. These Saurons, well, have come back from routing. They've been doing a really good job, but big two-handed axes, I guess. There's an absolutely monster axe that this guy here has, but it's not really going to be what you want. Well, it's not really what you want for going up into the wild men, who have an armor value of about 2, something along those lines, really low. And then the troll catapult crew, just not anywhere near capable of dealing with the enslavers of the Witch Realm. Melkor's Chosen running on it. He's running from my Herenidane Berserkers. This is a dicey unit for me to chase him with. I probably shouldn't, but I think I might try and get him. And since I've still got ammunition, no, I think I was thinking about it, but no, I've not been able to do it fast enough, and he's able to come in for a counter charge and do a lot of damage to me. These are 2 hit point boys at the end of the day. I know they've been fighting for a while, but still, they dropped like flies there. Nice mob pushing on through, trying to just surround what's left of the Erebor men. Over on this right flank is where Dale is strongest, though, as he's just been able to get a good surround off, and he's still got his cavalry running around like crazy over there. My Dunman Pikes coming around, trying to get just as much of a surround as we can over these dwarves. Melkor's Chosen about to have a fight with the Earls of Dale. I actually rate the Earls of Dale quite highly, but this is not a fight that they can win. The Melkor's Chosen are very nasty. It'd be good if we could get a little 1v1 with the General and and the Dalemen general, but no, they're not allowing us to have that. But the Earls of Dale gave a good showing of themselves. My Rhudaur swordsmen tried to come in to get a backstab, surround them, but no, they pushed their way on out. Try to catch him again, but no, it really is just a case of trying to shut this unit down. Oh, only half of the dwarves remain now. That was what that announcement was. Ironfoot crossbows here, getting surrounded. Again, Greenwood lumbermen, like my Rhudaur axemen, you know, just about the same quality really, are breaking into these dwarves. Living so close to the dwarves of Erebor, you learn a lot about them. You learn their weaknesses as much as you learn, you know, the bonds of friendship. So this is, of course, a lot easier for the men of Dale than it would be other men. And a few breaks happening there. As I always say, the morale of the dwarves, well, the morale of Erebor is not quite the same as the morale of Khazad-dûm, so you can really throw Khazad-dûm in some tremendously dicey situations, and they will face... Oh, damn. Yeah, that was a 91 unit there, but just a surround there from the Herenadine pikes, and everything else was enough to break them. And I think that is it coming to a close. Let's see what's really going toe-to-toe. Oh, the Temple Executioners are still around. I was wondering where they had gone to. Temple Executioners just battling off with my Berserkers. They'll wipe the floor with my Berserkers. My Pikemen could kill a few of them, but in an open field like this, it's quite tough. And Daly and Cav just could come in for some charging, but they'll rack up a good few more kills against my boys. These Axe Guard of Erebor, like once again an AP unit, but it's an AP unit with a lot of damage too. It's not just it's not like a little you know, hobbit. That AP is really sort of very low damage at the end of the day. So, or a unit like the Heavy Goblin Spears or something like that I had in my last battle. Merquindi bows still pretty healthy. 123 or 123, I should say. But these Axe Guard getting surrounded now. The Crescent of Defense, which would have held back my boys for quite some time, is now getting surrounded by the Dunman Pikes and just the overwhelming swarm of Dale, and that has broken this force. I was really surprised about the morale of Erebor in this battle. We really we were breaking these men quite quickly. And oh, the Nazgul, of course, there's still 12 Nazgul left, but the problem is there's no men for the Nazgul to fight around. So let's just, I think this is probably going to go on a while, so let's probably settle ourselves here at 2x speed. We've got the general on his sort of very monstrous warg. My general dropped there by a Temple Executioner, but a very worthy foe to take him out. Definitely wasn't a Nazgul though, but hey. Temple Executioners are about as close as you can get to the Nazgul. Yeah, now it's just the swarm of forces coming on in. My pikes are just having to hold them in place for a while. I wonder how we actually finally... Do we just... I think usually when the Nazgul are the last thing remaining in a fight, I just tend to get everything around them. Yeah, kind of like what I'm doing here. I just poked my screen, so... Well, you guys don't care. So I just kind of... I'm surrounding them as best I can with all the infantrymen I've got. The Nazgul are still having victory asserted. Critch is doing everything he can, just come in for cycle charges. But no, it's just a blob fight now. We can barely... We can see them. They're still fighting side by side. Or back to back, even. And I just wonder how many more they'll kill. Quite a bit, really. Yeah, just get my Rhudaur swordsmen along there too, because we're just about out of elites. I think I've got a handful of berserkers still left in there. The dismounted Earls of Dale, not bad, but you know. Well, we got Barding Herd. Yeah, if the Barding Herd organised themselves, they would be able to mince through it. But no, we're just trying to... It shows you the real staying power. We've still got 1,000 frames, and this is what these Nazgul are having to deal with for all of those 1,000 frames, which is absolutely insane, just the staying power of the Nazgul. I think that it was probably just... From looking at that battle, I think that really just came down to the fact that the Nazgul and the Temple Executioners were not thrown into the fight when I was using my Witchrum Enslavers and my Herenadine Berserkers. You know, I had my elites in there, whereas he didn't. So his men just, like Mordor's not got a horrendous basic, you know, medium infantry line. Oh god, we pushed them over here now. Yeah, but it really needs the Nazgul, and it needs all of these fancy units to turn the tide, and it just didn't have them on the front line. You can see kills wise, like I deployed like 3,000, and Dale deployed a hell of a lot too. It's quite rare to see that in comparison like Mordor, but I guess you know, Mordor did construct his army with you know, the Nazgul in there. They're expensive. Templar Executioners, Olakai. You know, there were a lot of very expensive units in there, so he didn't really have the same major numbers. Hereditary Berserkers anyway, 111 kills, and that was with a few nasty charges and facing off against some badass boys in the later stages. Jeepers, where the hell were my enslavers? I guess I had them chasing off against the dwarves, because they're armor piercing at the end of the day, so I wanted them to fight dwarves rather than fight against the forces of Mordor. Dunman Pikes there, nice, very good. Hereditary Pikes, a bit of, but they were still pretty damn healthy, so that's fair enough. Same with these guys. Swordsman Lines, yeah, doing their thing, you know, it's always gonna do all right, but damn, that's a bit unfortunate. 200, like, just about all dead and only 45 casualties. Well, only 45 kills. And same with some of those guys. The Axemen did a fair bit better, all in all. My Troll Hunters, not bad, but definitely didn't get as much Javelin Fire as I would have wanted. Clansmen there, Marksmen doing really good, damn. 110, good to see from them. And the Coalfell Maidens, never really going to be out killing the Melkor's Chosen. So that's fair. Dunman Scouts did okay though, so that's nice, impressive stuff. As I say, yeah, Dale, well, Critch there, we were both pretty slow on the charge. We should have been a lot faster. We let them just hammer us with artillery for some time before we really got stuck in. And I think that's just because we did think, oh, we've got the archer advantage like crazy. So yeah, great cavalry play. You know, I really... War Goats, of course, they've got an anti-cavalry bonus. And the Chariots, tough to kill with cav. So it was impressive that he was able to deal with both of those units. And yeah, so Erebor, I don't think Erebor did anything wrong specifically. I think that losing his general early on, that was a silly, just, you know, whoops-a-daisies move. Yeah, but that's just the type of thing that happens sometimes in games. I think putting your general in a unit of miners, that was maybe a bit of a goof, but I'm sure you won't do anything like that again. You know, I sometimes put my general in pretty weird places in sieges, but when it comes to field battles, I always like to put my general somewhere pretty firm, like an elite, like a real bodyguard tier unit. Yeah, or just a good quality unit, like the Naru Royal Guard or something like that, you know. But anyway, then Lifa. I think Lifa did pretty decent there. As I say, it was just the case of not sending his elite units forward when they maybe should have been there, and also a few of those catapult volleys hitting like nasty friendly fire hits. That was it. But no, anyway, as I say, this is one of the, just me going through my backlog of battles. So there's going to be one or two of these that are maybe not quite as close as some of the, as I'm used to putting out. So really sorry about that, but I just kind of want to get through these battles. So thank you very much, guys.